Welcome everybody, this is Mr. Ndabezita, and this will be our first tutorial looking at files and streams. So I just hope that we are going to enjoy this and everything is going to work just fine. So one thing that I will always do, as you know, is just to create a project, and this will be of course a console application, so you will see exactly what is happening. So to make things very simple for us, I'm just going to store our file on the desktop, and I'm going to call this file the folder the file statistics. Very important. So it will be saved on the desktop. I will press on next, and we will use the .NET 6.0 as a long-term support. So let's just have a reading very quickly. The file class contains method that allows you to access information about files. Some of these methods are listed on the table, and here they are. We can create a file, we can create text file, we can delete, we can search if the file exists. If it does, we can get the creation time, last access time, and last write time, and this is exactly what we will try to do with these files. So what I'm going to do here, I am going to have a namespace that I will call X, and I'll have a class that I'll call P, and I'll have a static that will return void, and this will be the main, and I'll have just this string of arguments, and I will have my brackets. So I'll just end the main, and I'll just end the class, and I know that one is just end the namespace. So we are going to try and put into trial these methods that we have. So one most important thing that we are going to do, first of all, we will declare some variables. This one will be of type string, and I'll just call this the file name. And then for now I don't have any name for that, and then I will have let me just import very quickly using static system using static system using static system Okay, there's a problem here. Okay, let me just check very quickly what is happening. Using static system dot console. Very good. Okay, and then what I'm going to do when I'm there, I'll just simply have a write statement very quickly, and I'll just say, to be more specific, I will just say enter the file name, enter file name, and I'll just say file name is equals to read line, because these files names comes as a string. Very important. So the most important thing that we will do, and then once I have accepted the name of this file, then I want to run some check. I'll just say, okay, let me just come here and say if if this file name, if this file, so this is a C# reserved keyword, you say if file dot exists. This is one most important thing that we want to check. We want to check first if this file that you are searching, if that file exists. Right, if the file exists, let me auto complete that. If the file exists and it accepts a parameter and we are sending in a string, and what is this string? It is a file name. So if file dot exists and then you pass in an argument of the name of the file, very important. And then what is it that I want to do there? I just want to have a right line, and in this right line I just want to say the file exists. The file exists, very important. But before I do that, I want to come here and just create a method that might be a little bit interesting to us. So this method will be public, it will be static, it will return void, and I'm going to call this the dot animation, and it will accept no parameters. And what it do is to just create a thread for us. So I'm going to have a for loop. So I'm going to say for int x equals 0, x should be less or equals to 12, and then I'm going to increment that by 1. And then I want to have a write statement, and I'm just going to use the stars. And then I'll just say thread dot sleep, and then let's just make it 400 milliseconds. Very good. So you will see exactly what that method will do. And as you can see there, I don't even have that import, but it is running on the background. So what I will do, before it searches for this file in the if statement, the very first thing I want to happen there, I want to invoke the dot animation. Very important. And then it will tell me that the file exists, and then once the file exists, I want to look at some things inside of this file. Now first of all, let me do this. We are going to do two things here. So let me go here. I'm going to come here, and I'm going to try and copy these files, all of them. I'm going to copy these files, and I am going to paste these files inside of the directory of this project that I'm currently working on. I will go to the bin, and okay, let me just come here and just paste. Right, okay, let me just save all. Right, this is what I have, and it's fine. Right, so when I'm here, what I'm going to do, the very first thing that I want to look for, or that I want to know or be notified about, is when was the file created. So I'm going to say file was created, and then I'm going to use concatenation, and then you just say find dot, and then you use the get what creation time. Very, very important. And then file dot get creation time, remember these are methods and they accept one argument of type string. So what is it that I'm sending there? I want to know the creation time of that file name. So I can come here and have another write line, and then the second thing that I want to know is when was the file last accessed. I'm going to say file was last accessed, and what I will do is to just use concatenation again, and I will say file dot, and then when I'm there I can just say get last access time, and then I will pass in the file name, get last access time of this file name. And then lastly I'll have a write line, and I will just say when was the file last written to. File was last written to, and then I will just say file dot get last write time. Very important. And I will just send in the file name. So this is all the information that I want to find out about these files. Very, very important. And then we have many of them here. We have like get the directories, returns a string array that contains the name of the subdirectories in the specified file. So okay, no, let me just leave it here so that I can show you something. So now let's just try to run this code and see exactly what might transpire there. Let us just try to run this code and see exactly what might happen there. So we are running the code, and I'm going to search for a file which I know that it is not inside of the directory, and I'm just going to say the file is SAM. And when you run there, it doesn't show anything. So let's have an else statement. So let's just have an else statement. And in the else statement, the very first thing that I want to do, I want to invoke the dot animation. Wait. So the file did not exist, and it never entered inside there, hence the dot animation was never invoked. So if it is not there, the very first thing that I want to do is to do what now? Is to invoke the dot animation, and then it will just tell me that file, let me just use the $sign file, which is a file name. So it will say file this does not exist. Very important. Okay, and then if that file does not exist, I want you to create that file. So you will say file dot, and we have the create, and then remember the create does what? This is very, very important. We are going to say okay, create that file for us, file dot create, and then it will create this file for us, and we will call this file SAM. In fact, what I can do here, I can just say okay, let's have a write line that will say okay, it will say file does not exist. Okay, that's fine. Let's invoke the dot animation again, and then after the dot animation, let's say let's have a write line and just say please enter the file name to create it. Very good. And then I will say file name, it equals to the read line. Very, very important. Right, so once it has done that, then I will say file, I will say file dot, and then I will create that file. And then what is it that I am passing there? I'm just passing in the file name. So what will it do? It should be able to create that file for me. So if that file it's not there, I will invoke the dot animation, and then it will say file does not exist. That's fine. And then it will invoke the dot animation once again, and then it will say please enter the file name to create, and then it will read that, and then it will create that file. So when we run this for the second time, the file would have been existing. So one thing that I want us to look at, so I want us to have two ways in which we can do this. So now let's just run this and check if things will happen the way in which we want. So there it is running. Enter file name, so I'm going to enter someone, and then it will invoke the dot animation, and file Samuel does not exist. Okay, and then there it is. Please enter the file name to create it, and I will just enter Samuel, and then it is done. But we are going to fix a few things there. Let's go and check whether Samuel has been created or not. So we will go to the desktop, we will go to the current file that we are busy working on, which is file statistics, and I will go to the bin debug.net 6.0, and do we have a file named Samuel? Yes, there it is. The file has been created for us. Very, very important. Okay, that it's fine. But as we saw that we are having some problems there, we saw that we are having some problems, so that is fine. So before we go to the right here, let me just have a new line. So let's just run this and check exactly what might transpire in here. So we can run and say enter file name. We know that we have created this file. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Sorry, not, let me not do it in that way. So let me just have a new line here, and let me also have a new line there. Very good. And then let's just run this once again. So we will try to run this, and when we run this, we enter Samuel because we know that the file now exists, and then it will invoke the method, and then it will say the file exists, the file was created on this, the file was last accessed, and the file was written to that. So everything seems to be working very, very well. Now let's go inside of this, and let's just search for a file that we know exactly that it is there, just to find out more information about it. So I'm going to copy this, and it's a .pdf file. So I'm going to run this, and I'm going to paste that .pdf, and I'm going to run this. The file exists. The file was created on that date, was last accessed on that date, and was last written to on that date. So this is very important because these files are in the directory. It will be able to search these files and be able to find those files. So this is just something very important something that I thought me and you, we can sit down, try and share this so that we understand exactly how these files works. So we can create a file, we can search if a file exists, and if this file does not exist, we can create that file, and many of the things can happen inside of this file. So this is just some piece of information that I thought it was necessary and that we share. And then if we are fine with that, then everything will be fine. So just to share some of the methods with you here, so we can just come here, we can invoke a method in here. In fact, we can have a write statement, we can have a write line, and I can just say get files in my directory. I can say that, and then I can just say I can use the get files method. So I can just say file dot get files, file dot get files. Okay, there seems to be a problem. So I can say file dot, and then I can just say get, and I can try to get files. Let's just check here, and that is not possible. That cannot be possible. And I can also delete a file. Okay, let's just dot delete. Let's just delete a file. And which file now do we want to delete? Let's just delete this file that we call, okay, let me just send in the file name. We are just trying to delete that file, right? So we can just delete a file whenever we want to delete that file. So we can try also to do that. So let's just check get files in my directory. Okay, let me not say that, let me say delete file in my directory, and I can use concatenation there, and then I can say file dot delete, and then I will just specify that. But we have a problem in here. Why? And then it says provide a static method for the creation, copying, deleting, moving, and opening a single file, and so on. So the operator plus cannot be applied to operands of type string and void. Okay, let me just fix this line. Let me just quickly fix this line. Let me just quickly fix this line. So I can just come here and say let me do this. Let me just say delete a file named, delete a file named Samuel. Okay, I don't have that in here. Named, I can just say file name plus, and then I can come here and say file dot delete. And what is it that I'm deleting? I'm trying to delete the file name. So this is not going to work. So you must have that file, and then it will be able to go and delete that file because you have used the exist here. So because you have used the exist, it will not be able to go and delete that file. That file must be inside of the directory in order for you to be able to delete that file. So if we just read, it deletes a directory. This one cannot delete a file, it has to delete a directory. So for example, we can just send in a folder name and then it will be able to delete that folder. So this is just very important. So thank you for watching, guys. So this is not going to work. This is not going to work. Very good. So this is all what I wanted to share with you. I hope that you understand what is happening here. So thanks a lot for watching. Please do share, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next